At the end of today, if everything works out well, I will be posting a recording of this, and you can link to it on the website so you can see everything we're getting ready to do other than the intro. I knew I was going to forget to get it started. So everybody go to Technology and go down to the SCAAE meeting, February 18, 19. This is where we're going to work from. And just click on that drill down menu. Make sure if you're on there and your neighbor's not on there, go ahead and help them out. Okay? This is how I do it in my class. Earlier we were talking about having issues with students using homework systems. I devote the first couple of classes, not the whole class, but parts of the class and how they do it, and then we troubleshoot. It takes about 2 weeks, and I start off every class, what trouble you're having, and we solve those. And everybody's good. So is everybody there? We getting there? Now, as you see here, here's our meeting, okay? And I'm not going to cover it today, but the very first thing, I've got the link here, the Next Generation Accounting Classroom. When you get a chance, it's a 7.5-minute video, and it covers everything that I do with technology and homework systems in my class. And I'd love to talk to you about what I do. This isn't the place because I got some other items on the agenda to cover today. But that's a great resource to see what I do with technology. Now, where I do want you to go to, see down at the bottom, SCAAE handout. Everybody see that? Click on it and open your Word document. If you click on that, it will pop open a Word document. And it will look just like this. It's probably going to be a little too big, so you can make the size smaller. And this is the stuff that we're looking at. And so what I want you to do, keep that Word document open because it's got the questions that I want to address. And we can't address them all today, but I really want you to think about these questions as we go through this talk and how you could use some of the technology that I'm going to show you to use in your classroom. Now, get it clearly out of the way up front. Everything that I'm doing today, other than the Camtasia screen capture, costs nothing. I have no cost in it, and as we saw from the book reps, we can get this type of screen capture for free anyway. Okay? That's how I created my video. That's how all these training sessions you see on the web, they're doing that right there. Camtasia costs about $180 for an academic license, but we can get it free through our publishers. I produce a Windows Media of every class I teach, and it's downloaded to the intranet so they can see my lecture, see what I do on the computer, and have it, just like you'll have later. All right, so there's your kind of handout to follow through and think about questions as we go along. All right, well, let's talk about what I want to cover today. First thing, we've covered Skype. What would happen if you Google your name on the internet? What do you get? If you want to do that, go ahead and Google your name on the internet. What do you get? Now, the reason I ask that is I've spoken to about 1,400 CPAs this year, and ultimately, before they hire somebody, a younger firm, a firm that's thinking ahead, they Google that employee. They check out their Facebooks. And time again, I get the comment that comes back, man, we love this student, they're great, and then we Googled them, and we're not hiring them because of their Facebook. That's right. And it's real interesting because not that long ago when I Googled my name, I didn't get anything to come up. But now I get, when I Google my name, I get a LinkedIn. And I spend a lot of time creating a public profile on the web space. Your students need to do this, as do you. On this engagement team that I was a member of, the first thing they did, one of the partners had heard me at a seminar and said, you know, Kyle's got some expertise in IFRS areas, let's call him. And before that, he called me, the other partner, he went and Googled me on the internet and found out what I was about. And he checked me out. He said, yeah, I've seen everything, but I need a full resume. So this is happening right now. We need to work with our students on how to make sure that their web presence is acceptable. Now, as you think about how we communicate, you can see through here. Here's one of my students, Jason Sincere, Jason Bloomer. I get a lot of good information off of these. This one's LinkedIn. I also do Twitter. I do some other stuff. You don't have to do all of those, okay? You really don't, because it's up to you. And as I always tell people, when you're going into technology in your classroom, you take baby steps. You pick up one technology at a time, and you try it out, you get comfortable with it, and you use it. Well, when did I start doing this? 1997. So I've got a lot of years, and when you see all the stuff I do in my video, I didn't do that overnight. It took, and I've been working on this since 1997. So, if you're interested in LinkedIn, Twitter, Facebook, LinkedIn is kind of becoming the business model today. Now, let's move on. Like I said, I got a lot of kind of hurry. Where's Clarence? Let me know when I got to stop. Otherwise, we're going to be here all day. No, we got to go eat. Let's see. As we go through, let's think about paperless. How many of you are paperless in your classes? 1, 2, 3. Got about 3. Okay. If you read through all the information coming out in the literature, everybody's going to go paperless. It just makes sense. Okay. And to give you an idea, here is my mom's bank account that I reconciled. What do you see on this? Tick marks. Okay. So rather than me have a paper copy that I got to touch about 16 times before it's all said and done, I got to file it, and eventually I got to get rid of it by shredding or burning it. I now have this on my hard drive, okay? And at some point in time when I decide I don't need it, I'm going to get rid of it. I had to invest in higher level software. I bought Adobe Acrobat Pro because that's what everybody's doing. Well, you can't be paperless if you've got to rely on some other system, and so we have to learn how to do this. Okay? And as you go through your personal business, your classrooms, you want to make sure, long story, SunTrust decided to cancel my overdraft protection for my mom and didn't tell us. So anyway, a lot of fun there. But as you think about paperless, you don't want your student to go out into the workforce and the company's paperless and your student's clueless. I mean, think about it. That's just crazy that an employer hires your fresh graduate out of college and they think these guys should be up on the latest, and they don't know how to deal with paperless. How many of you have 2 monitors? Okay, just a couple of us. If you don't have 2 monitors, you can't be paperless. And actually, I'm running 2 computers right now. Okay, at home, I run 2 computers, and I have a total of 3 monitors that I deal with. I'm too cheap to buy a card to get the 3rd monitor, okay, for that same computer. But so I use 2 different computers. All right, let's see. And I will say this. The ultimate way I went paperless in my classroom was homework systems. Until I had that, I couldn't do it. And so I started, my first time with a homework manager was McGraw-Hill's Homework Manager. I've used Wiley Plus. I've used Connect. Once I embraced those, I went completely paperless, and it took me from spring 2008 until fall. The beginning of fall, I haven't handed out a single piece of paper, period. Okay? But that was the breaking point for me. When did I start going paperless? 1997. Okay? And I got tunnel carpal syndrome trying to do it because of the emails and downloading. Well, that brings the next problem. How many of you have heard of Dropbox, Keep and Share, Google Docs, Smart Doc, Vault? Anybody heard of them? They are amazing. Okay? I'd like you to go to Dropbox. Okay? And I chose Dropbox for a simple reason. It had the most gigabytes for the least money, i.e. free. Okay? And I'm real careful about data protection. And if you want to think about what your students need to know for the next generation in the accounting world is how do we protect all this data? You're fresh out of Ernst & Young, right? Document protection is no longer easy, is it? It's just a scary thing, and that involves technology that we have no idea what happens when we save it. And so Dropbox I like a lot, but I'm not going to put my client data down there. I'm not going to put information that I want to keep private on a free website. And so I've got to research the privacy rules. I got to see have they had a SAS 70 audit. I mean, all kinds of things that we need to do. So the things I have saved down here are things that if somebody read and saw it, it's not going to bother me. Okay, it's not private data. Where do you want to learn about that? Well, you better start reading about SAS 70. You better read about SSA 16, the SAS 70 replacement. And they're coming out with an update to AU 324 on SAS, on audits, and they're going to rewrite that. And embrace the new, they're going to separate that so we can understand it more. My prediction is in the next 3 years, anytime you do an audit, you're going to have to be talking to a SAS 70 issue. You're going to have to address it. It's there. It's coming. And whether we embrace it, it's going to be here or not. As you can see, I've got all my Dropbox here. Well, what does Dropbox do for me? Same thing that Google Docs, SmartVault. I can, and actually I logged into a computer over here. I went to my Dropbox. I got a file, and I updated my website so you could link in today's handout. Okay? That was created in my office. Everything I do in my office, everything I do at home, everything I do in the computer labs, if I do something here, it's updated in that Dropbox, and I don't have to worry about, okay, is it on that flash drive, which is the most recent? It's there, okay? And it's great stuff. It takes a little while to get used to it. That brings us to computer access. How many of you remotely access computers from anywhere? Now, I'm seeing some hands. That's cool. That's really cool. What are the employers going to want you to do? Well, if I don't have to drive across town to talk to my client, I can talk to them on Skype, and I don't have to be over there to take over their computer, man, all of a sudden I'm doing great, okay? For my students, I have Skype office hours, and I tell them anytime you see me on Skype, I'm available. If it's green, call me up. And I'm working a lot getting this manual for A&A produced, but anytime that happens, we're good. So what happens is I can share my screen, I can see their screen, and if worst case comes, I can use this program called logmein.com, and I can, if they'll let me set them up, I can actually take over their computer and fix it. So I'm going to go to my logmein.com. Now, how do I get students to do this? I give them a grade. They have to Skype me, and they get a homework assignment. They have to talk to me on Skype. I did a bad job here. On the, there we go. On LogMeIn, they have to demonstrate to me that they can log in and take over a computer. And once they do that, they get a homework score. Okay? The students that have done this are going, wow, this is great. Now, here's all my computers. That's my office computer. There's a lab I teach in at school. There's some home computers. There's my father-in-law, Jack. If he has a computer problem, I don't have to go to his house anymore. I take it over remotely and I fix it. I'm getting ready to set up my mother's home. I'm going to put Skype in there because she's 87. I'm going to set up Skype and logmein.com, and if I need to talk to her, I'm going to turn on her computer. As you'll see right here, I can turn on this computer at home. I'm going to turn it on, log into Skype, and tell her to go in the kitchen, and we'll talk. So, I mean, the things that we can do now are incredible, and I'm making my students do them. That's logmein.com. If you're not doing this with your students, the employer is going to wonder why, because the next generation of accounting majors needs to be able to do this. You told me earlier, how often, this is Andy, recent E&Y, I'm going to put you on the spot. How often did you guys have conferences at E&Y where you just had to be there to... Yeah, had a lot of these things, and so, yeah, but on the education, you didn't have to be face-to-face on that. So, I mean, the firms are already using this. We need to embrace it. Now, as we think about these tools, we need to make sure that we're helping our students. You know, the simple things we've talked about, the online presence, making sure that they're clean is really good. But the next thing that we need to make sure is that they know how to use what's out there. Okay, the last thing